Hey guys, Joe DeMarco from the Crazy New York Driver Show for Friday, February 23rd, 2018. Welcome to another eBay video. As you can see once again, it is cloudy and raining. Welcome to the Northeast. If you remember last week, last Friday, it was cloudy but not raining. It's been lousy the entire week. Saturday night, we had a snowstorm and got 8 inches. It finally melted, I guess about by Wednesday. We got rid of all that. We've had nothing but clouds. Yesterday, it rained all day. It's going to rain all day today, tomorrow, Sunday. And they're saying they're not even sure about Monday. No sun for the foreseeable future for Crazy New York Driver. We get the worst weather here. It's disgusting. Enough about that. Today we're going to be discussing an unusual return case, yet another one, which I think you guys will find very, very interesting. I'm going to tell you a little bit about eBay Concierge. I had to call them several times this week. The Hall of Shame is back. The Bad Sellers Hall of Shame has returned this week. We're going to talk about a few glitches going on eBay and your questions, comments, and concerns from last week's video. So let's get right into it right now. On ads, Vicky Gagan wrote, Joe, another great video. I do not know if you or your viewers have noticed this, but I have in the last few purchases I have made in the automotive category on eBay. I had to purchase a couple of items for a repair I am making and another for my own vehicle, and I noticed just after I made my purchases I got the usual promoted listings with a big difference from the past, which I hope is the beginning of a trend. I was pleasantly surprised to see the same items I purchased listed not of cheap Chinese knockoffs, but of original manufactured items listed for more than what I purchased the item. If this is something new that eBay is doing with the spring update, then there may be less canceled sales on similar items in eBay Motors, or this may just be a strange coincidence, but it makes me wonder. I would not have brung it up, but it happened to me more than just a couple of times in the past 2 weeks. Okay? Several people wrote in about drop shipping. Do the Math Seller wrote, what do you think about drop shipping? There was a lot of videos on YouTube about this. I would like to hear your take on this. Me personally, I don't think it's a good idea. Plus, it's risky, and I wouldn't want my account suspended. Plus, it doesn't seem like it's enough margin in it. To get $2 on an item and possibly get dinged for it is not my kind of business. Your videos are fantastic. Well, my opinion is don't do it. I do not advise drop shipping. It's a little too fishy if you ask me. Also on drop shipping, Justin the Reseller wrote, I was duped by a supposed American seller with a location in Virginia, but my product still took forever and came from China. When it arrived, it wasn't authentic. I returned the product, but they didn't issue a refund until I had eBay step in. Ridiculous. I agree, that is ridiculous, and that is a very good example of a bad eBay seller. More on drop shipping. From Ubiquitous, replying to Justin, you probably bought it from a drop shipper who was using China as a supplier. It's basically the absolute worst way to drop ship on eBay, and eBay should remove those sellers. Again on drop shipping, News and Public Notices wrote, fake dollar scammer is off Amazon. He uses out-of-state post office boxes. I have many Amazon stories of returns. Do not trust Amazon half the time. Buyers get to keep the item at the seller's expense. It is not fun selling with Amazon. Does Amazon have seller meetups? Answer no. eBay has fulfillment centers that do a much better job. A question was written in by Mike Martin. Thanks, Joe. Question, I have an eBay store like others, and I was wondering if it's worth opening a separate merchant account to accept all the major credit cards for payment. Since my store only accepts PayPal right now, is it worth going the extra mile to get this done? Absolutely not. Stick with PayPal. Soon, eBay will be also accepting ad yen. Don't waste your money. A couple of people wrote in about China sellers. Always a favorite topic of mine. Mousy Pluta Prestige wrote, I got stung yesterday with cheap China knockoff junk. Ordered an air filter from what appeared to be a reputable seller, but instead got a cheap China junk one. Didn't even resemble the old one at all and looked like it was glued together. The real issue that ticked me off was that the seller used the exact part name and number, even though it was clone junk. Like Joe, I don't like to neg anyone, but after the return, he's getting both barrels of a neg, right between the eyes. Not only a complete waste of my time, and it cost $140. I think I'd be less ticked off for $10, but for $140, I demand the real thing. Funny, the seller is from New Jersey. I too have noticed in eBay Motors, people selling the cheap China crap and using legitimate factory part numbers and Hollander exchange numbers. This is a situation, a touchy situation. I'm going to get more into this as the video goes on, but it is a big problem in eBay Motors. I agree with you 100%, and I really wish they would clean that up. But it's not entirely eBay's fault, sadly, as I will explain. Also on China sellers, Craig B. wrote, China sellers and all the sellers need to represent their items honestly and correctly. If it is China knockoff, it needs to be represented as such. Let the buyers decide. That is how America works. Skinny Cow wrote, why the police don't take on eBay over fakes and forgeries, I don't know. Probably it's because a large corporation, as we all know, and how they get preferential treatment over human beings. Police in LA County arrest people for faking Tide laundry detergent, and now the person is looking at serious jail time. You can watch it here, and he drops a link to a YouTube video. Now, let's stop right there, and let's address his comment and the one I just mentioned before about the cheap China crap. There is such a thing on eBay called Vero policy, and you have to be the Vero rights holder to actually get these items taken down. So the person who wrote in earlier about the air filter, I'm not sure what brand he was representing that at. Maybe he claimed it was an original GM air filter. In that case, GM would need to step in and file a Vero complaint against that seller. And these big companies just don't want to be bothered. Case in point, and this is a true story. There is a certain seller on eBay. I'm not going to name him, but he's in the same line as me. He's a hubcap seller. And he sells tons and tons of cheap China crap, representing it as the original thing. Not only that, he gets the emblems that have various car companies on them, and he puts them on the hubcaps. That is a huge trademark violation. Now, if he was doing it in China, he could get away with that with no problem. But he's doing it in the United States. A while back, another eBay hubcap seller called me up, and we got into a discussion about this particular guy. And he knew all about it. He said, this guy is prolific. He's got his neck on the chopping block, and I can't believe nobody has chopped it off. None of the big three. However, he's been doing this for 3 years and making a crap load of money, especially on Toyota stuff. So he's selling knockoff Toyota caps, representing them as new, charging like $35 for a brand new aftermarket, and people think they're getting the real thing. And these big companies do not want to take it on. Okay? I, as you know, being the trailblazer that I am, did contact one of the car companies involved. And I went right to the legal department and I laid out everything for them. I said, here's what's happening. Here are the listings. They're using your emblems and putting them on this cheap China crap. Take a look. And the legal department actually responded to me and said, thank you very much for your information. If we need any more information from you, we'll take it from here. And you know what they did? They did nothing. They did nothing. Business as usual. So for you guys who just wrote in with that topic, I wish I had an answer for you, but I don't. I don't. It really doesn't help to contact the actual Vero rights owner because they don't care. I guess they're making enough money on their own. On fraud, Robin S. wrote, I have been selling on eBay for several years, and for the first time today I received this email from eBay. Suspicious buyer for item. We had to cancel bids for the buyer, John Smith, because they aren't registered on eBay. Can you please do a video about this? What does it mean, and how is it possible to bid without being registered? And oh, this email came to me after the buyer paid for the item and I already shipped it to them. Yes, I have gotten those notices myself. One was only a month ago when I told you about the guy who tried to do a chargeback, a fake chargeback through PayPal, but the idiot was stupid. He did the chargeback 3 weeks after he made the purchase, claiming unauthorized use. And as I said a few weeks ago, he had been doing this to other sellers as well, so eBay canned his account, shut him right down, and sent that automated message out to everybody. The last comment I'm going to read is on defects from Mr. D. Kelly. Thanks, Joe. I got 4 defects removed. Stay in that deck or not. I used to build them. Took a drink with you, but not Gatorade. You should ask eBay to help you fund your own East Coast conference. My sales are kind of slow, but who cares? We rock on in peace. Well, Mr. D. Kelly, next time you're in New Jersey, I know you live in Michigan, but next time you're in New Jersey, I got a deck that needs to be stained. Get to it. And since you mentioned about taking a drink, sir, let's have a drink from the Fox News Cup O' Life. Gotta love it. Now let's get to some new business. I want to tell you a return story that really boggled my mind. I think it's going to boggle yours too, because it's the first time it's happened to me in 19 years. As you guys know, I get more returns than most of you because I sell on eBay Motors and people do not know anything about their own car. When I sell an item, I can usually have a gut feeling whether or not it's going to be returned. For instance, if a guy buys something for a Toyota, that basically is not going to be a problem because Toyotas are easy to work with. But certain cars tend to use alloy wheels, and D. Kelly, you'll appreciate this story. So I sold a center cap last week, and right away I had that gut feeling. I said, this isn't going to be the right cap for this guy. I knew in my gut it was going to be returned. So what I did was, when I shipped the item, I want all eBay buyers to keep the return through the eBay flow. I don't mind getting returns. He's paying the shipping, but I want the return to stay in the eBay flow, so I do not include any paperwork with the order. No receipt, no nothing. If I even suspect that this is coming back, this way it keeps the return through the eBay flow. Sure enough, like clockwork, the guy gets the item and he contacts me through eBay like he should and says, I bought this by mistake, I'm sending it back for a refund. No problem. Now this is important. Here's where it gets crazy. This was on Tuesday. Tuesday at around 2 o'clock, I got the alert on my cell phone that I had a return because it was automatically accepted. Tuesday night at about 10 o'clock, I get an alert on my phone that says, the item has been delivered. Please issue the buyer a refund now. What? He only opened the case a few hours ago. How the hell do I have this thing back already? That's wrong. I said, I'm wondering if that's some kind of an eBay glitch. So the next day, on Wednesday, I checked the status of the case and it still said that I should refund the buyer that I received the item. So I'm thinking maybe it's a site glitch. I call eBay concierge, I get a nice lady on the phone, and I explain the situation. And she says, wow, this is weird. He only opened the case, but I'm checking the tracking and the tracking shows that it's in Florida, not New Jersey. That's where the buyer lives, is in Florida, okay? So she was stymied. She goes, you know what, if you don't mind, I'm going to get somebody from the returns department on the phone with us, so we'll have a three-way powwow and see if we can figure out what's going on here. So she gets another lady on from the returns department, and she begins to look at the situation, and she says, this is really weird. She goes, let me see, are there any notes that there might be a site glitch referring to returns? And there were none. But then the rep from eBay Returns noticed something. She goes, I see what happened. Your buyer is trying to pull a fast one. What happened is, I shipped the cap to the buyer, no problem. He got the cap and never even opened the box. Listen to what this slick Willie did. He didn't open the box, he just wrote on it, refused return to sender. Or, I'm just thinking now, or maybe he opened the bottom of the box, realized he bought the wrong one, then wrote, sealed it back up, wrote refused return to sender. Then opened the case that he wants to make the return. Okay, it was automatically accepted. And for the tracking number, he typed in my exact tracking that I used to send it to him, but added a prefix of 4 or 5 fake numbers at random, just so there'd be some kind of tracking number. So it was showing delivered to Florida, okay, and not to New Jersey here. So this guy actually tried to pull a scam. He made a mistake, he admitted it, he wants to return the item, but he does not want to pay the shipping. So now we got a situation here, because here's where we're at. I don't have the cap back. It may come back to me, and it may come back to me postage due. So the eBay rep from the returns department said, this is definitely wrong what he did. This is definitely a fishy buyer. So she says, I'm going to close out the case in your favor right now. All right? She says, if the cap comes back to you and it's postage due, like let's say I have to pay $5, I should subtract that from the refund I give the guy. But that is a crazy story. A crazy story. Have any of you guys ever had anything like that happen? Comment below, because I think it's really interesting. I thought you guys would enjoy that story. It's unbelievable what some people will do. There is a glitch going on that several people have contacted me about, late notifications. For instance, if you sell an item right now, let's say Friday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, all right, you get the notification on your iPhone that something sold, but it doesn't come through your messages for maybe 6 hours or sometimes even a whole day. And this is still going on right now, late notifications. To my knowledge, it's pretty widespread and it's been going on about a week. So I don't know if that has been reported or not, or if they're going to fix it. I have not reported it myself, but don't feel bad if you're getting late notifications. Now, we're going to do a cutaway to the eBay bad sellers Hall of Shame! Okay guys, tonight I'm going to show you some examples of people selling positive feedback, which of course is against eBay rules. What really concerns me are the ones that claim their listings are benefiting charity, because eBay usually has a little logo right next to the listing that shows that in fact they are going to benefit a particular eBay approved charity. Also, I'd like to point out that this section of the video is being filmed on Wednesday night, February 21st, because I'm afraid that by the time Friday rolls around and I make my regular video, these listings will no longer be around because I plan to report them. So let's get started and let me show you a few things. Here's a person selling 100% feedback, same day delivery. They have sold 17 of them. 17. Here's a person, 100% positive feedback, same day delivery. But there's something odd about this. Let me show you. Right over here, it claims the listing is in Hawthorne, California, in the United States. However, when you click on the seller, it says he's located in Egypt. So can anybody explain to me how he's pulling that off? Unless he has like a warehouse in California where he's shipping positive feedback from, I don't know. These concern me even more because it says 100% feedback, fast delivery, great reviews, purchase, charm, and card benefits charity. Let's check this one out. This person sold 13 of them. 13 of them. And look, there is no charity icon, no eBay approved charity icon in anywhere in that description. Please make arrangements for pickup within 3 days here in Las Vegas, or we'll be happy to give your card and charm to a homeless person so that they can pass them out to help them raise support. No good. That is not following eBay guidelines. Now, normally, as you guys know, I always obscure the seller's ID. In this case, I didn't with that particular person because this is just plain wrong, all right? And eBay needs to take action on that, and hopefully they will. Let's get back to the video right now because I have a lot more to tell you. Okay, guys, you just saw something that really bums me out is when people do that kind of thing. Selling positive feedback is just plain wrong. It's a major policy violation. But when you couple that and claim you're giving the money to charity, message. You gotta wonder anytime you hear that piano music and you see a message, what it's going to be about. When a person is selling positive feedback on eBay, which is wrong, and they couple it and claim they're giving the money to charity and it's not an eBay approved charity, well that's just disgusting. That's just disgusting. And that's why I outed them. I want you to see what's going on. And that one seller who seems to be based in Egypt but is shipping, quote unquote, shipping positive feedback from the United States, that's just plain freaky. Those I'm going to have to report. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. That's just plain wrong. We've talked about this before. How do you guys feel about people who sell positive feedback on eBay, especially when they're coupling it and claiming they're giving the money to charity? Comment that below. That, in my opinion, is the epitome of a fitchy seller. And like any fitchy seller, they're going to be schooled. They're going to be taken to school, and a lesson is going to be learned. I can't take it. I just can't. Sorry. Serious face. So, let's do a little bit of a rehash of some of the things we've discussed today. I can't do this. Take two. Let's do a... Let's do a quick rehash of some of the things we discussed today. One, I told you about that crazy return story I had where the buyer circumvented paying return shipping. That was a real low-life thing to do. And in the end, he's the one that's going to lose out, nobody else. I've called eBay Concierge twice this week on two different things. Actually, 3 times I called them. I called them about the return. I called them about a guy who seemed to have bought the wrong thing but really didn't. And eBay Concierge went the extra mile to call the guy on the phone before I printed the label, ascertain he had the correct model car for what he was buying, and then Without being asked to, they called me back an hour later and told me that everything had been rectified to go ahead and ship the item. I thought that was great. So 3 calls to eBay Concierge this week. All 3 calls were handled professionally and my concerns were taken care of. So thumbs up for eBay Concierge. We talk about people selling feedback on eBay. That's just plain wrong. And when you couple it with a charity, that's just plain disgusting. If I see it, I'm going to report it. Hopefully I answered your questions, comments, and concerns from last week's video. Guys, each Friday I come out here and I make these videos to try and help you. If you think I'm doing a good job, please give me a thumbs up. It tells me that I'm on the right track. If not, if you didn't think I did a good job, please tell me in the comments section what you want me to cover next week. And as you can see, I will hopefully get to that topic. Remember the following things. I'm Crazy New York Driver and you're not. Thanks for watching. I am a seller friend, not a seller critic or skeptic of any kind. I'm still making money online and I hope you guys are too. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys right here next week. But unfortunately, I think it's still going to be cloudy and rainy. Rock on and peace! Yeah! For those of you still watching, and I sure hope it's most of you, you're going to get an extra drink from the Fox News Cup O' Life. Yeah!